Dad would have wanted us to be strong and carry on without him. We know he's in a better place now, and he's not hurting anymore.
In 1919, Edgar's father died. Edgar finished the school year and his mother moved the family out of Decatur and back to Chicago. Edgar had lived in Decatur for 11 years.
Your mother and father still living?
Yes, yes, sir.
Be kind to them. I know you are.
Yeah. I will be.
Phone them.
I'm blessed. They're the to me the best parents in the world.
What?
They're the best parents in the world.
Well,
yeah.
That's nice of you to say that.
Edgar struggled in his Chicago high school and was on course to miss graduation. Unable to throw his voice to home, give ear as far, or imagine himself away from this pain, he may have pondered real-life advice from Decatur.
Why mope, my lad, on a sunny day, when the rest of the world outside is at play? And why all the gloom? 'Cause the world looks blue when you turn your back to the sunny view. Just because you failed is never a sign that you won't be able to make the climb. So back with the shoulders and up with the head, and toss away all of the gloom and the dread. For gloom and despair are no pathways to fame. Take courage, my lad, and try it again. Take courage, my lad.
It's not easy, but you know, If you're in the storm, there's a way to ride through it. You know what that is?
Yeah, our maker.
What?
Our maker.
You bet. Now you're talking.
Edgar made a decision. He would find a fortunate path. Although his academics were questionable, he was artistic and creative. Somehow, he would earn his graduation. Edgar watched the famous ventriloquist, Harry Lester, who performed often in Chicago. Edgar met with Lester and showcased his ventriloquist skills, and he gave Edgar daily lessons for 3 months at no charge. When I was 16, I decided to design a dummy of my own instead of working with a ready-made product. I knew a red-headed newsboy in Chicago who was pretty fresh in his general outlook on life, and one day in school, while the teacher wasn't looking, I sketched out Charlie McCarthy on my exercise book, making him as closely kin to the newsboy as I could. Edgar brought the picture to a woodcarver named Theodore Mack, who carved a dummy out of a block of pine. For this task, Edgar paid $35, a large sum for a high school student in the early 1900s. Edgar named the dummy Charlie McCarthy, a Celtic name to commemorate the woodcarver. Edgar hoped this gesture would lower the price. Back at his high school, Edgar gave a ventriloquist presentation with Charlie McCarthy, whose jolly face spread chortles and stomps. Girls covered their grins. This effort, this obvious culmination of care and planning, so convinced the teachers of gigantic resolve that Edgar earned remediation privileges, and he graduated from high school. What do you think of those ventriloquist dummies?
I don't see many of them around. Do you?
Not as much as the old days.
Well, the old days are unfortunately are G-O-N-E.
Yeah. In present day, Tim Selberg is one of the most talented figure makers in the business and has clients across the globe. Like Bergen, he is Swedish and a Michigan native.
There's just no angle that he's not interesting. You know, you look at him from any, vantage point.
He must have had Charlie done a couple times after that, probably.
Oh yeah.
And then
there were a total of at least 13 different Charlie McCarthys. It's been counted. So
How many?
13. There were stunt double Charlies, you know, for different scenes in the movies, and oh, he had several. There's you can see it if you go through all the photos, little differences in them. He definitely evolved over the years. Charlie did. You might recognize this guy.
Wait a second, could that be
We better get this in there.
Mr. Rupert?
That is Rupert, and that's his original wood, you know, the front part, obviously. That's supposed to snap things closed.
That had nothing to do with the fact that I was a musclehead. No, in fact, that it was my academic advisor told me to do that. I'll never forget that conversation we had. He said, "Mike, your intellectual accomplishments are even greater than those of Mark Zuckerberg." That's what he said. And he said that employers these days,